Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Premier Injuries Daily Update. Of course, we're speaking ahead of Game Week 7. We've only heard from 4 managers so far. It's Thursday, so we'll start with those, but we've got lots to cover as we had a big European programme this week. First up, Brendan Rodgers. No fresh injury concerns for the Foxes. They take on Aston Villa this weekend. We know Ricardo Pereira, ruptured Achilles, and also Ryan Bertrand, long-term knee injury. Those two players on the sideline. We do expect to see Wout Faes, the new signing, come in to that Leicester backline. They've been shipping goal recently. It is a concern of Brendan Rodgers. One player who doesn't appear to be in contention is Kaglar Soyuncu. When the Foxes boss was asked about his continued absence from the team, he said decisions were being made based on what he saw on the training ground. So that doesn't sound great. In attack, we've seen Kelechi Iheanacho and Patson Daka up front last weekend. Jamie Vardy dropped to the bench, but we know that the veteran striker does struggle to play 3 consecutive games. So it remains to be seen on who will lead that Leicester attack. For Wolves, it announced on Monday, the club announced that Sasha Klajcic, would be meeting with a knee specialist following that ACL injury at the weekend, less than 45 minutes into his debut, heavily linked with Diego Costa. Well, it was confirmed by the Birmingham Mail that the striker underwent reconstructive surgery on Wednesday. Now, initially, Diego Costa's work permit was rejected. The club have appealed. And now, they're going through those medical tests and fitness tests. The worry or concern here is Diego Costa hasn't played competitively since December 2021, so almost 10 months, and it's going to take him a little bit of a while to get back up to speed. Junior Stanislas, he's been managing an ongoing groin issue for a while. He rejoined the group on the training pitches today, Thursday morning. It's going to be a decision that Gary O'Neill will have to take based on his fitness and sharpness. I do expect the Cherries to probably be unchanged other than any last-minute injuries or illness. They've drew and won their last 2 games since Scott Parker's departure. Joe Rothwell, he remains out, the new signing, probably won't return this side of the international break, but also Ben Pearson, that knee problem, doesn't appear to be as serious as initially thought. But again, we could be talking about October before he comes back. Ralph Hasenhüttl at Southampton, again, trained with more or less a full complement of players on Thursday. Long-term absentees remain. That's Tino Livramento, ACL, and also Romeo Lavia. That's a hamstring issue, a minimum of 6 weeks with regards to that. There were problems earlier in the week. Diallo and Elyounoussi, both illness. They missed training on Monday and Tuesday, but they're back with the group, so they're fine. And again, I don't expect too many changes in that Saints lineup. For Newcastle, we heard that Loris Karius is in the process of going through a medical following a training ground injury for Carl Darlow. That's an ankle-related problem. Of course, Newcastle got rid of their number 2, or Martin Dubravka left and joined Manchester United on loan, which leaves only Nick Pope as their number 1 experienced goalkeeper within the squad. So we do expect that Karius deal to be completed. Initially said to be on a short-term deal, possibly until January. Newcastle do have a recall option on Dubravka, by the way, and that again could happen in January. For Liverpool, in total disarray midweek at Napoli, but we'll focus on the injuries at the moment. Naby Keita called up to the Guinea squad. A lot of people questioning why that might be the case. It was being flagged as a long-term hamstring injury, and he certainly won't be fit. Well, the club are obligated to release the player. That's a mandatory clause, and the national team, the Football Federation, are well within the rights to assess that player independently. If he wasn't to be released, then FIFA can impose disciplinary actions. So that's why Keita will go, but ultimately we don't expect him to feature. Thiago, he returned in the Champions League on Wednesday night in Napoli. Whether he's fit enough to start this weekend, the pressure's building on Jurgen Klopp. He said, it wasn't until the Spaniard was introduced that Liverpool began to have a foothold in the game. I do expect changes. There's a lot of talk with regards to the performance of Trent. And he is just one of the players highlighted who could make way. Joe Gomez with Joel Matip also fit as another one. We've seen Tsimikas come in on the left-hand side for Robbo as well. So there's a few potential changes within that team. Carvalho, he picked up that quite a nasty dead leg during that Merseyside derby. There are no guarantees whether he will be fit. If that's the case, he could come back into that start 11. He has impressed during his performances so far this season. Arsenal, they're in Europa League duty on Thursday night. Hopefully we'll get this edited and out before that's the case. Mikel Arteta confirms that Emile Smith-Rowe has been managing what he referenced as an ongoing muscular problem for the last 2 to 3 weeks. The reality of the situation is these groin issues he can go back to again December 2021. It's something which has meant that he hasn't started any Premier League games. He came on at Old Trafford, had around about 17 minutes plus time added on, but pulled up during the post-match warm down, so that doesn't look great. He's out of the squad. Thomas Partey, slightly ahead of schedule. He may return ahead of the international break. Initially, it was sourced that recurrence of that thigh problem would keep him out until October, but good news on that front. We do know, unfortunately, that Mo Elneny is a significant setback, and that is long term. For Manchester United, got a lot of questions about Marcus Rashford. He appeared to pull up towards the end of that win over Arsenal with a hamstring related issue. I did state at the time that I thought it was fatigue related, a touch of cramp, and he has been training fully with the squad. But I do expect Erik ten Hag to make changes in that Europa League tie this evening. Anthony Martial, that Achilles problem, has ruled him out. Also, Martinez, he is managing a little bit of an adductor issue. His withdrawal was precautionary, but there's a lot of options in and around that United bench for Ten Hag to make some changes. For Everton, massive blow losing Jordan Pickford, certainly until after the international break. Around 3 to 4 weeks is that time frame that has been suggested. We'll wait and see how that injury evolves. That was an injury that he picked up in that Merseyside derby. Asmir Begovic will come into the team. He'll be keeping sticks for the Toffees this weekend. West Ham, again, they're in Conference League duty. Thomas Souček picked up a bit of a foot problem against Chelsea. Nothing too serious, but again, David Moyes may look to manage his players ahead of that home tie against Newcastle on Sunday. So if Thomas Souček isn't involved, then I fully expect him to feature in the Premier League on Sunday. Elsewhere, Aaron Cresswell, Ben Johnson, those two players haven't trained. So at the minute, you have to rate those two players as a massive doubt. Craig Dawson, he has rejoined the group in training. Heavily disrupted pre-season, this ongoing thigh problem. In terms of a start, that certainly won't be the case, but is he going to be in and around the squad? Quite possibly. For Chelsea, we've seen the absence of Edouard Mendy. Now, Thomas Tuchel, while he was in post speaking ahead of that tie in Zagreb, noted that it was an opportunity to rest Mendy. Of course, he's faced a lot of flack for a couple of indifferent performances and that VAR decision that let them off the hook against West Ham. Now, that's an ongoing knee tendon issue. Might be tendonitis in and around that, so that's just being managed. So it isn't an injury as such. Like I see, he was withdrawn from that squad just as a precautionary measure, just to rest him. Kepa came in. Now, by the time we have this weekend, the game's coming up, Graham Potter should be in charge down at Stamford Bridge. So it remains to be seen what happens in terms of those squad selections. Manchester City and Pep, formality midweek for them. We do know that Kyle Walker and John Stones both picked up injuries last weekend. Now, Pep wasn't very confident that though either player would return in game week 7. He mentioned the fact that it could be the Champions League or even game week 8 or even the international break after that. So who we're looking at in defence? Well, Akanji come in alongside Ruben Diaz. Ruben Diaz played on the left-hand side with Akanji on the right. João Cancelo, he's swap flanks to the right, and that opens the door to who can play on the left-hand side. Nathan Ake is back and fit and a possibility, and also Gomez is another option for Guardiola should he choose a wish. For Spurs, Lucas Moura returned to the training pitches on Wednesday. Whether he's included Antonio Conte's squad this weekend, I would suspect that's highly unlikely. But as always, we will continue to provide your daily updates. As it currently stands, we're expecting to hear from up to 16 managers on Friday. So it's going to be another busy one. If you have any questions, you can pop them in the box below. If you need to look at the injury table, you can always check that out at premierinjuries.com. Hit me up at Ben Dinnery on Twitter. And, you know, if you like this content, please hit that subscribe button. There's regular content dropping all the time, so you'll be notified as soon as that drops. See you again soon.